Our first resolution is small talk is a waste of breath. To join us for 2 minutes, please welcome Sylva.
Small talk is a waste of breath, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, and I believe that all of you should too. Small talk defined as an exchange between two people that have no real bearing, whether it be in the workforce or in some sort of other formal manner, is what I consider small talk. So what makes it a waste of breath? No real information is exchanged during small talk. When you discuss things like the weather, you don't learn anything about the person you are talking with. It is useless. It is a waste of breath because you have to take time out of your day to talk to people that you may not want to talk to because it is small talk and it is the most appropriate way to be polite. But if everybody concurred that small talk is a waste of breath, you wouldn't be forced into these situations where you have to talk with people about things that are of no relevance to you. Small talk is a waste of time and a waste of breath because you have to often repeat things over and over and over again. If you know anything about repeating things, it can become tedious and annoying because for them, it's just small talk, but for you, it's what you've been discussing for the past 3 days over again. So, if you think that small talk is a waste of breath, I think that you should agree with me.
Thank you, Sylva. Now to join us, the leader of the opposition, Jenna.
Ladies and gentlemen, small talk isn't a waste of breath, contrary to what the Prime Minister has stated. You don't have to repeat things. Once you say something, that person will hear you and won't be asking again. And small talk is another way of being friendly and connecting with others. And also, if you're just talking about things like the weather and whatnot, well, maybe you do want to hear about what the weather is like, where they're going, just in case that you're heading up the same way. And even if someone just says, hey, how are you? Technically, they're not really asking how you are, but it's just another way of saying hello. And like I said, it's just another way of connecting with others. And it's also makes it less awkward, small talk. Instead of having that awkward silence, you can fill it with, so, how are you doing today? Just like what I'm doing right now, making use of time. Also, you can learn little unique facts about people with small talk that you wouldn't otherwise get by asking them outright questions. For instance, if you're talking about the weather, you can get a sense as to how that person feels about the weather. Do they like the warmth, the cold? Then you can get into other topics that are more, that others would find more relevant. So it's just a stepping stone into a conversation, because most people aren't just going to jump right out and ask a direct question. You got to have some small talk to build up to it, to ease them into the conversation. So small talk isn't a waste of breath. It's also helping with your speaking skills and making you more confident talking. And again, it's better than that awkward silence of not saying anything. So please help defeat the motion that small talk isn't a waste of breath. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Please join us. Welcome us to join the Prime Minister, Sylva, for another minute.
So the opposition led you to believe that it isn't a waste of breath because it takes up time. Well, what happens to the fact that you might not have time for this small talk that is meant to break the awkwardness? What happens if you're in a rush to get to work and someone's trying to break this barrier instead of getting straight to the point? So often, having this tiptoeing dance about topics that are not relevant to either one of you can be a waste of breath and your time. She also said that it's an opportunity to not have awkward silences, but there's equal opportunities to have awkward moments of speaking.
Yeah, about that guy I hate. He's my boyfriend. Perfect example of how small talk can get you into some awfully big, awkward moments. She also mentioned the fact that it is something to be a stepping stone. But the thing is, by getting concrete answers to questions, that's your stepping stone. By talking about things that are irrelevant, you don't learn anything at all.
Yeah, thank you, Sylva. By show of hand, just raise your hand. Who supports the government side? Thank you. Support for the opposition? Thank you. The government wins on this.